But yeah, as usual, we will start with the DXY, which since we last spoke, we have seen a bit of momentum to the upside, but nothing too crazy. We talked about 3 different areas where price potentially could sell off from. The first area was this consolidation, which we did see a reaction from. I also talked about this area. This was more at the beginning of the week before we had this continuation on Monday. And I said if the market was to have a big pullback this week, then potentially this could be an area where price does pull back into before we do continue. But yesterday, as we can see, we did pull back into this area, a bit of a wick there on the 4-hour chart, and price did see some nice rejection. However, we haven't really got going. We did see some downside, yes, but price is not back at these lows necessarily. So it's a reaction, but not necessarily a continuation of the trend. Price might still want to go see some higher prices. And again, that's the logic here with the DXY. We are still bearish. We're still seeing lower lows and lower highs. Momentum is still with the bears. So again, from an intraday point of view, selling is the best bet because you're there to try and take a piece of the pie, not necessarily looking for a big swing, not trying to look to stay in the trade for too long. So that's why I said intraday, if you're looking for shorts, that's a good idea. Kind of looking for the trade for the day and then be done with it. If you're looking for a swing trade, I think the better trade will be looking for buys in this scenario because we are still very corrective on the way down. We'll lose momentum. I do think the bigger move for the dollar at some point in time will be to the upside. So as a swing trade, I think I'll have a bit more joy looking for buys. Of course, being patient, waiting for price to give me that signal initially because we could always keep falling. So I'm waiting for price to push up higher, potentially putting a higher low in, and then I start to look for some entries to go long, and we're probably still a few days away from that. But that's what I do expect the bigger move to be. So as a swing trade, that's what I'm interested in. But day trading, I can fully understand looking to try and take some shorts. As price comes back into these areas, there could be some healthy reactions. On the lower time frames, just like we got yesterday as well. So again, the immediate price action is still bearish. I'm waiting for the buys, not quite here yet. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about the buy setups because they're just not here yet. And I would still keep an eye from these zones, 97.2, 97.8, 98.6 as areas where price could potentially react and see some downside. But yeah, USD so far pretty bearish, but I am expecting to see some upside soon for USD. Just have to be patient. EURUSD, same situation really as well. In terms of, we had a bit of a pullback yesterday. We did tap into this area, which corresponds to what the DXY did. I also mentioned this area here as well. I quite like it because it lines up very well with this high. So resistance over there, of course, resistance over there, but acting as an area of demand with that breakout. And of course, you've got this consolidation here too. So pretty much the same areas as we referred to with the DXY, but you can see price tapped into this zone here, that consolidation tapped into it. Nice reaction to the upside. I was talking a lot about shorting opportunities on the euro on the 15-minute chart. I said keep an eye out for this zone for the buys. We did see a healthy reaction there. Now prices pull back into this area of supply. It looks like we're seeing some type of reaction, and it looks like we could be seeing a bit of a fall. Price had one push, second push failed this morning. Could see a bit of a drop there and a continuation of that bearish structure. So with euro as well, I'm expecting a bigger pullback with this one. I'm not really interested in finding buying opportunities. I think this is a decent level where we could see a nice reaction. There's a nice trend line going through the market here. But again, I'm not expecting anything too crazy because I do think the market's a bit overextended. I think the bigger move is going to be to the downside at some point. But yeah, we'll see as things develop. The shorts are definitely not quite ready yet. Intraday, yes, there might be some opportunities, but long term, not quite ready there either. But in terms of the buys for euro, we had a nice buy there. I think this zone is something to keep an eye on. Let's see how euro develops from then onwards. Pound USD, I was a bit surprised with this one. We had a lot of pound weakness come into the market, and price did drop quite heavily there yesterday for pound across all pairs pretty much. And yeah, pound did have a pretty substantial drop, and we did end up respecting this area, prior resistance there, this area of demand. But altogether, we have left behind a bit of a consolidation here, and I do worry that pound is going to push up. just to respect as resistance, respect the supply, and possibly continue lower. Again, the way I'm looking at pound USD is that the market has been bullish for quite some time, but I do feel like we're coming to an end shortly, and might not necessarily be an end, but a bigger pullback at some point. And that's kind of where I would expect the bigger move to be. So I'm quite interested with the shorts. Not this one though. I want to see price go and create some bearish structure first, and then I can capitalize on a lower high somewhere. That's still about a few days away from forming, but I quite like the intraday sell opportunities here, particularly this range there. Drop to the hourly chart. So yeah, price can pull back into 1.37-ish. I'd say that's a healthy place for a short, and at least a push back down into the low. So yeah, I'll keep an eye for that for pound USD. I still think this is a decent area for longs as well. This is of course the last swing low, which gave us this run to the upside, so that naturally could be an area where we do bounce from. But again, I'm not expecting any big buys here. I think the market's quite stretched. I do think the bigger move will be with the bears, so we might see a bounce, but I'm expecting it to be a situation where we do bounce, put a lower high in, and then run lower. But again, we can speak more about that when we actually are trading at those prices. For now, this is kind of what I'm looking at. Dollar CAD, we did see some more downside. We did see some more lower highs. We talked about this yesterday. I said watch out for this area here. Nice range in the market. We did see a lot of momentum to the downside. We didn't quite see the double top. I did say watch out for the double top. I was looking to see if price can run back into resistance here and then have the sell. Not quite in this situation. Price formed the high, consolidated, and then broke to the downside with some nice momentum. But we did keep up with the lower highs, which is the important thing. The plan for the week here for dollar CAD was a push back into the lows. Looks like price is almost there. So I would expect dollar CAD just to eventually go and hit support there, really. And then we'll go from there. There could actually be some nice buys to take dollar CAD back to the upside. We are trading in a big area of demand in this area. So I do like the idea of looking for some longs. It's definitely more of an aggressive trade, but I do feel like we can at least have a bounce. The bigger move might be to the downside, but because of where we're trading, the bounce we had previously, there might be a bit of a bounce there for dollar CAD. More of an aggressive setup, but it makes sense given the location of where we're trading. So keeping an eye on the lows here at 1.35. There could be some really nice buy opportunities there. Aussie dollar, still keeping an eye for the shorts in this ascending channel, which it seems like we've been in forever. I'm looking at this area here just above our heads around 0.66. I'm looking at this upper channel, basically just looking to short the high of the channel and then look for a swing back to the low of the channel. Nothing too complicated. Price has just been doing that for the past few months now. Of course, we had that fake out to the downside, but price quickly recovered. This is really the area which I want to be looking to short from. So Aussie dollar, looking for a push back into 0.66. I think that's the great place to short. Stop loss above the highs there. Of course, how we get there and how we react will make the trade. I'm not going to just short because price is there. I'm going to wait for the rejection. But then, yeah, expectation would be a short back to the low of the range. And then the reason why I like the short a lot is because potentially we capitalize on the breakout as well. You know, take a good chunk of profits at the low, but leave some to run just in case we show signs of continuation, because these ascending channels, they tend to break lower, and hopefully we can catch that, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Aussie dollar still keeping a close eye at 0.66. New Zealand dollar, this one pretty much the same idea, and we're pretty much doing it already. I'm looking at this ascending channel here, and you can see we've got high, low. Price came back into the high recently, respected it pretty well. Haven't really seen momentum really pick up for the bears. There was a nice reaction, but we haven't really got going yet. This is still my expectation for NZUSD. As long as we can hold on to resistance here, I'm bearish. If I see signs of price breaking through the level, through the high, then of course I will look to reanalyze that. But for now, rejection. Price is doing a good job at rejecting the high there, so I would be bearish. If I'm looking to long, price needs to be breaking through that, which in this case, price is not quite doing yet. So still looking for a push to the lower end of the range, back to 0.59. Very similar to the idea we have with Aussie dollar, and of course they're very similar pairs. So we'll see if they can respect the highs of their channels and see if we can get that swing lower. In terms of gold, so yeah, gold, I'm looking for short still. We are coming back into my area of interest, which is this area here. I'm seeing price slow down, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I like how we're looking. Again, we had a lot of momentum with this bullish move here, so if I'm going to get short, I need to see some really healthy rejection before I do take a trade and a big shift in momentum. I'm still looking at this as a big V-shaped pattern. We did have a slight correction there. Now we're seeing the continuation. So basically, I'm looking for us to really slow down, see some very strong rejection, and then I'll be happy to take some shorts with the targets of support down here. And maybe if things go very well, might leave positions to run into support down there at 31.40, 31.50. So at the moment, very, very bearish on gold. I'm looking at this as our last major swing high. So as long as price doesn't break through this high here, I remain bearish, looking for shorting opportunities. If price was to run through that level, I'll back away. At that point, we'll be looking quite bullish. I wouldn't necessarily be looking to buy the market, not after a break like that. But I wouldn't be looking to sell the market either. So yeah, just keeping a close eye around 33.60 to 33.80. That's really my area of interest. I'm liking how we're moving. We're starting to slow down, seeing a little bit of wicks to the upside. No real shift of momentum, so no trade yet, but I am looking at gold having a bit of a drop there. Silver, on the other hand, is looking very bullish. We did have a bit of a push to the upside this morning, very strong candle close. At this point, it does look like silver is going to run back to highs, which is interesting because if silver is looking very bullish, looking like it's about to run to highs, but I'm looking to short gold, there is a bit of a contradiction there. So maybe gold does join the party with silver flying to the upside. Maybe gold does that as well. If that's the case, hopefully, gold doesn't give me any type of signal and gold just flies to the upside and I stay away. But if I do get a good rejection with gold, I will happily look to take some shorts. But yeah, silver's looking strong. Does not look like we're going to get the retest of 35. All these wicks have held support very, very well, and looks like we're about to push back into resistance. I still do have a lot of, I still do expect higher prices for silver long term. I'm still looking for a push into 40. I think that's the next big psychological level. So that's where I'm expecting price to be drawn towards. So yeah, I think there'll still be opportunities in the near future, even if we don't get the retest of this level, which of course is not looking likely now. But yeah, even if we don't get the retest of that, I think there will be pullbacks on the way to that next big level at 40. So keeping a close eye on that. But yeah, silver's looking very bullish. There might be some lower time frame opportunities here. Something like this, and we go put another higher low in. But yeah, this was really the opportunity I was looking for. Doesn't look likely anymore. But yeah, I still do expect higher prices.